Here we go. Ooh, it's hooking up well. It's fast. Okay, so 0 to 100 in yeah, this thing is epic. Holy moly, guys, they have finally done it. They have fixed the Mark 8 Golf GTI by bringing out this, the Mark 8.5. It addresses some key issues that a lot of us did have with the Mark 8, a very competent hot hatch, but I wouldn't say it was the fastest, the nicest, it was just a really good all-rounder. This is now faster and has a much more functional interior. They seriously fixed a lot of the issues that we had. So today I'm going to take you for a very exciting review of the Mark 8.5 Golf GTI. It has been updated on the exterior, the interior. We are going to launch this thing because it is now faster, it drives better, which is crazy to say, and I'll end on my final thoughts. Should you buy a new Golf GTI? So let's get into it. Alrighty, let's talk about price actually, because right now you can get a fully loaded current Mark 8 GTI for about $60,000 drive away, which is actually decent pricing, especially as everything else has crept up and met it at that price point. This one here, we don't know what it's going to cost yet. It's going to come sometime next year. It's not going to be that cheap, but Volkswagen have been going on this quite good strategy actually recently of adding a bunch of value to their cars and not pricing them too expensive. So hopefully this isn't much more. And if it isn't, then I honestly think it's a bargain. Let's talk about what has changed. So the headlights here, they have changed. You have very bright LED lights in there and a daytime running light now runs across. You have a revised bumper, of course. It's now bigger, more bold, but thankfully you still get the really cool checkered flag fog lights there. But otherwise, it's a very subtle look. There's no mistaking this as a Golf. It looks like a Golf, but it looks like a grown-up hot hatch, and I love it. Obviously, GTI badge there, Volkswagen badge. You've also got a sensor there and a front camera because it has a 360 camera. And now this gets an upgraded travel assist. So it'll essentially steer itself down a highway, keep you a safe distance from the car in front of you and do it better than before. And of course, we are finished in the Hero Red. Can't remember what it's called. Typhoon Red. I don't remember. Whatever it is, it's cool. Let's check out the side. Alrighty, let's talk about the side. Now, this is quite interesting. They've gone a bit Alfa Romeo here, Volkswagen. They've got these telephone dial style wheels, cool alloy to them though. You have some red brake calipers here, which do a good job at stopping this vehicle, actually. You have a GTI badge. By the way, if it's in red, that means it has a limited slip differential, but they all come with limited slip differentials now. You've also got a 360 camera there. Don't mind this driving experience. We weren't actually supposed to review this car, so that's why I'm so excited that I can actually review it. We have keyless entry and go. No tinted privacy glass, but that could be an option in Australia, or it could be factory option for Australia, where it usually is. And otherwise, it's a little hatch. It's really not that big. That's one of my favorite things about the Golf is that exterior-wise, it's actually one of the smallest full-sized hot hatches you can buy. Let's check out the bum. All right, let's talk about the bum. It is a good-looking rump, I think. Look at these new taillights. Actually got a cool 3D effect inside of them as well. You have the GTI badge there. You've also got your Volkswagen badge, which is your boot release. And also, it's got a little camera under there as well. The reverse camera, of course. You have new bumpers down the bottom and dual exhaust. And I actually think they sound pretty good, but I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. Okay, so what about the boot space? Well, like I said, this is actually quite a practical interior. You have 374 liters of boot space. You can also drop the false floor underneath it. There's nothing, but you can get a space saver spare wheel. You can also drop the rear seats too and just get a stupid amount of room. This has always really been the people's car, and in this case, I would say it is as well. Let's check out the interior. Okay, so first test of any Golf is quality. Let's slam the door. It's a solid thonk. The elephant in the Mark 8 GTI room was always the interior. In a lot of ways, it was a big step up from the Mark 7.5. However, the Mark 7.5 still to this day has one of the best interior layouts of any car. Extremely functional, it all made sense. And when they moved to the Mark 8 GTI, well, it had some compromises. In a lot of ways, it was quite forward thinking, like everything is touch capacitive, but in practice, it just wasn't as good. And I'm happy to report they have fixed the biggest issue with the interior, which was the display. Now, before I thought it was fine, but it had some silly things. For example, the volume slider here and the temperature sliders, they weren't backlit. So at nighttime, you couldn't see them. You just had to rely on touch. And when there is literally no feel to them, you didn't know what you were pressing half the time. But now it is backlit, so you can see it at night. And the climate controls are always in the display down the bottom. Everything you need is here. It's logically laid out, so well done, Volkswagen. Seriously, they listened to feedback and they fixed the screen. You can also access your heated seats from here, which is good. And the display itself is really snappy, responsive, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. It works very, very well. Same with this steering wheel. This was the other big thing. It had touch capacitive buttons. And it was silly, right? Because one of the smallest issues that was actually quite annoying was it was so easy to accidentally turn on the heated steering wheel because it had bad palm rejection. It's been updated now, and now it is simply clicky buttons. And they work so well. They were fine before, and now they're perfect. Seriously, the touch surfaces in here are fantastic. There are still some things I don't love. For example, if you want to change your mode, you have to press a button here. I kind of wish it was like a dial or something, but that's minor. And really, it doesn't make much of a difference. So let's talk about this steering wheel. It's a really nice leather steering wheel. It's got the golf ball pattern to it. GTI badge there, proudly spelt out. And it just feels fantastic to hold on to. Up in front of you, you get a digital instrument cluster, and you can go through a bunch of different displays. You can make it more customizable now than before, and it was already very customizable. It's essentially a reskin version of the current screen, but I don't know, with a few more features to it, it just works well. And thankfully, it is still a Golf in here, which means it is so practical. At 5'11", I'm not that tall, but I have so much room. This feels like a much bigger car than it is. You have a huge glove box here, a really large open center storage tunnel with a hidden cup holder and a non-hidden cup holder here. You have a smoker's pack in this one. We don't get that in Australia. You have a little storage area here. You flip it up, you have a wireless charger, so it holds in your phone. You have 2 USB-C ports, a storage area here as well. I've never really loved this nubby shifter, but it's fine. Like, it's just personal taste, really. This center armrest is nice and soft leather, and it's got that classic Volkswagen thing where you can adjust it to your heart's content as you want. Again, just smart design. Huge door bins that are felt lined too, and quality in here. Soft touch materials in most places, and this faux carbon fiber here on the dash. I have to give a huge shout out to these epic GTI seats wrapped in the tartan cloth. They look great, they feel great, they really hug you as you're cornering. It's a seriously good design, and now that they've updated the annoying technology that kind of reverted back to, well, worse times, I actually think now the interior is near on perfect. It's a really nice place to be. Sure, could you want electronically controlled seats? Well, you can get them as a leather pack, but you don't need them. These seats are the way to go. By the way, the Harman Kardon sound system in here is also tuned very well. It sounds fantastic. So yeah, big tech updates in here, big usability updates, and that makes this thing probably at the top of the class. And this is what the Golf is all about, and that's why I'm so excited. Let's check out the back seats. Okay, let's talk about the back seats now, because this has always been a strong suit of the Golf. Despite its fairly obviously small proportions, at 5'11", behind my driver's position, I just get heaps of leg room. Toe room is pretty good, not amazing. Headroom is fantastic as well. And by the way, you do get a sunroof, so that makes it nice and airy on the inside. Quality definitely takes a hit in the back, which is always a shame, but you get this nice Alcantara trim here. You've also got a couple of pockets up here for your phone, or a bigger map pocket down there. A couple of air vents, a third zone of climate control. Very unnecessary in such a small car, but cool to see. And of course, the tartan cloth seats in the back. They feel epic and are very, very comfortable. And of course, a huge shout out to the huge door bins, because they're just massive. And again, felt lined. Of course, if you pull down the center armrest, you get 3 cup holders, including a smaller one for an energy drink and a ski pass-through. So yeah, don't worry, it's still very German. But I am curious, what do you guys think of the interior now of the Golf GTI? Especially with that tech update, did they just make it, well, perfect? And of course, don't forget that my team can help you get the absolute best deals on your next new car. The way it works is we have thousands of dealers who we make fight each other to come back to us for the best deal possible. And best of all, because this service is totally free for you, we charge the dealers a fixed fee. We go in the absolute hardest to get you the best price. So if that sounds good to you, and of course it should, head to carsauce.com/buy now and join our many happy customers. Speaking of happy, let's launch it. Okay, so now it's time to launch the new Golf GTI. I think I got like high 6s because of wheel spin, but I'm hoping because this thing has some pretty good tires on it that we will do pretty well. So put the car into sport mode. We're going to put ESC into sport mode as well. Brake boost it, and off we go with launch control. Here we go. Ooh, it's hooking up well. It's fast. Okay, so 0 to 100 in 6.36 seconds. Though to be fair, it was a slight uphill, 1.3% gradient. It's actually quite a decent uphill. So really you can expect closer to about 6 seconds. It's pretty epic. Alrighty guys, so what's new with the Golf GTI? Well, like I said, it's kind of the engine. Whoa! This thing now gets 195 kilowatt of power, 400 newton meters of torque. So essentially, it finally gets the tune it deserves, and it is honestly, so much better for it. The 180 kilowatt of power or so that I had before always to me felt wrong. It didn't feel quite right. It felt like a hotter than warm, but not quite hot hatch. This though, it feels way better. So right now we have it in sport mode and we're going up some pretty awesome German roads. And yes, these 15 stage dampers, they certainly feel 15 stage, but when you turn, they certainly feel like they're in sport mode. But when you do give this thing like 10 tenths, the limited slip differential just hooks up. And this thing, it has an insane amount of grip, but also now a lot of power and a lot of torque. I'll be honest with you, it doesn't just feel like it has more power and torque, it feels like an almost entirely new engine, but it can put it down pretty well. So we'll start in one, a tiny bit of tire squelch, but it's a rocket. Wow, I am shocked. I can't believe it's driving this good. The steering as well is so precise. It has progressive steering, so the more you turn the steering wheel, the more the car will actually turn. And that's good because when you are doing just small adjustments like this, it doesn't require much. But if you need to really turn, you don't have to go like 2.5 locks. It's like 1.5. The 7-speed dual clutch is really snappy. Downshift, it just does it. The exhaust sounds a lot better than I remember as well. Gotta do one of these turns. It's almost strange how little you have to turn the steering wheel. It's literally like 1 lock each way. Strange. Yeah, this thing is epic. And I think the best thing about the GTI is that it really does just feel grown up. It doesn't feel as boy racery as the i30N, a hot hatch, which I love. It doesn't pop and crackle. It just feels more dailyable, if that makes sense. Now, sport is pretty firm. It definitely is. So we're going on this road here, which I like to use because it almost simulates Australia. It's that bad. So let's put the car into individual mode. Now, like I said, it has 15 stage dampers. So I have set these dampers to be as comfortable as possible. They are 3 more comfortable than comfortable, apparently. And you can see we're just floating along the road. It's nice. It's easy, it's cruisy. If we take the transmission out of sport mode, it really does dull it down. Here it is. The compliance in this suspension is unbelievably good. These are some terrible roads in front of me right now. There is a really nasty pothole here, which I will still avoid, but it certainly wouldn't bother my bum because frankly, it is just that comfortable. There it is, avoided. Yeah, guys, I think Volkswagen, I've kind of come back into this era where they're making some pretty epic cars. Before, I struggled to recommend the GTI because it is definitely one of the most expensive hot hatches on the market without having the same amount of power, without having the same amount of fun. But now, even with the dampers as comfortable as they are, you put your foot down and it just takes off. This engine tune combined with the redesigned interior makes a world of difference. And I am so impressed. And with that, let's get into our final thoughts. Alrighty guys, final thoughts on the new Mark 8.5 Golf GTI. Should you buy one? Well, obviously we'll have to wait for the price, but I don't think it's gonna be a huge price increase over the previous generation GTI, which was never cheap. But honestly, if you are looking for the best all-round daily driving hot hatch, it's really hard to look past the Mark 8.5 GTI, especially now that they've fixed all of the issues I had with it. It's almost a flawless car, a really cool car to live with, and I'm so excited for this to land in Australia with its updated engine specifically. But let me know what you guys think. Did they change enough with the interior? Is it just right? I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. And of course, if you want to buy any new car in Australia and you want the best price possible, make sure you check out carsauce.com/buy and we'll get you the best deal. Oh, and subscribe. Ciao for now.